Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Word Bible Study, a plain and simple, book by book, chapter by chapter, and verse by verse study of the entire Bible. We are in Psalm 19. I am always so tempted to say chapter. The book of Psalms, okay, and that's probably the more proper way because it is a collection of 150 Hebrew songs that has some poetry, little, but a lot of wisdom, mostly praise with prophecy involved in it. So there's a lot of prophecy in some of these psalms. Okay, they are a collection over a period of time. Not did not write all 50. There's not a collection of all 50. Some have been ascribed to Moses. Some ascribed post Babylonian exile. What they all, of course, have in common is they are praise to God. They're singing about praise to God. All praise is always directed to God. And it should never be about you, but to God. Okay, so let's get to it. Psalm 19. It says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the skies proclaim the works of his hands. Now, let me stop for a moment and kind of elaborate on that because oftentimes you have Christians that try to make a scientific proclamation about this statement here. If you're looking at the sky, let me come out of this for a moment because I want to talk about this. If you are looking at the universe, okay, you're looking at the universe, you're looking at creation, you see wonder, you see majesty. Now, I said this kind of in another study. There are some astronomers and scientists whose attitudes towards creation is a lot different than how the Bible declares. Like, for example, when it says, what is man, right, that God is thinking about, they would go, man, it's nothing. And when you look at the vastness of the universe, we wouldn't even measure in a sense of microscopics. It would be hard to find us microscopically. If you're from God's perspective. From our perspective, obviously, you know, we exist, right? We're here. And so when you see a statement like this, that the earth, declares the glory of God, the heavens declare the glory of God, they do. Let's understand the term word glory, right? What does the term glory mean? And in its simplest form, glory reveals majesty, greatness. So if I think about a basketball championship, right? You get a ring, you get the trophy. Like if you walk in somebody's house and they have a whole fire ledge, shelf, or it can be a bookshelf, and you see trophy after trophy after trophy of whatever sports it may be, basketball, football, track, wrestling, whatever. But that trophy declares the glory of that person, the praise of that person. They accomplished something, so therefore it magnifies it. Okay, so that's the first thing. So when he says the heavens declare the glory of God, and the term glory, okay, when we talk about glory, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because there are churches and pastors and stuff that when they say glory, they kind of stress things a little differently. And there are a segment of people that say, well, the glory cloud is going to appear or something like that. Well, the glory cloud, again, if God manifests himself, and what happens is the glory, it could manifest in several ways. God's, could manifest in several ways. But the glory would say it is demonstrating his greatness, majesty. Okay? So when it says the heavens declare the glory of God, and then the skies proclaim the work of his hands. So this is a proclamation. From our perspective, it is a proclamation of faith. And that's basically all this is. It's a proclamation of faith. This statement, and understand what I'm getting ready to say here, this statement does not prove the existence of God. Right? In other words, because atheists look at the exact same universe and say God doesn't exist. So the revelation, the declaration is that it is the work of God. And it is a magnificent demonstration or revelation of the majesty of God. Now, as we go through Scripture, it is a part of the revelation of the greatness of God. In other words, God created time and space, the universe, the solar system. And I think it is a great testament to the glory of God. In other words, if you look at that and you say, well, the Big Bang, for example. Now, again, I want to make the comparison, because if you just we're just average people. Astrophysics themselves cannot explain the universe. The Big Bang Theory, and let me just say this too so we can have a proper comparison. So scientists says that the universe began 14 billion years ago. That it started with a bang, an explosion. Now, table this, because there's a motive, in my opinion, I have to put it this way, of why they make this declaration. Here we see God, through the inspiration of the psalmist, says the universe itself is the handiwork of God. It displays his glory, his greatness. It tells us how great God is. So you have two separate eyes that can look at it and say, one, it declares how great God is. The other one would say, well, it happened naturally, through natural processes. I think it takes more faith in denial to hold to that. I'm not even sure if they truly believe that, but this is my opinion. Just truly my opinion. But when we talk about the greatness of God here, the universe itself, the greatness of God, handiwork of God. So then this, to me, it comes to a motive when you say God did not create this. So you look at the universe, the vastness of it, and they tell us, right, through astronomy, right, looking out into the vastness of the universe, that there are hundreds of millions of solar systems or galaxies. I can't dispute that, because, Now, within that, of course, our galaxy, which is we named the Milky Way galaxy, we have our solar system. So we have the Milky Way galaxy itself, we have but one system, right? So the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy itself is one, and they say there's 100 millions of our kind of galaxies. Wow, right? I don't know if we can even phantom that. But anyway, So within our galaxy, we have one system, our solar system. You have the sun, our sun, and 9 planets that orbit. But you just kind of think about it, and they tell us with the universe itself that it is expanding at the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second in every direction. And then these universes are expanding. Um, and then, of course, with our particular solar system, you have the sun and 9 planets. The third planet is our planet, the Earth. And all of this, the galaxy itself is orbiting, the solar system is orbiting within the galaxy, and then the planets orbit around our sun. That's some glory from God, right? Non atheists want to say it just happened through science. So, in other words, what they want to say is 14 billion years ago, there was an explosion. Now, we have to stop and say what caused the explosion. The elements, they were already there in order to cause the explosion. So, even if you want to say that the Big Bang happened, right? God was the one who caused the bang, right? He lit the match or whatever, right? They want to say it just happened out of natural processes. That's problematic because then you have to say this order came from disorder. Because when you look at an explosion, can anyone point to any explosion at any time, anywhere, where order came out of it? So, like, explosion happened and you saw a word spelled out. I'm being a little humorous, but that in my uneducated mind, I can only go that way. But anyway, anywhere that a explosion caused this, that an explosion caused order, right? We can look at every explosion, right, everywhere, and it's always disorder. You come upon it, it's like, man, what happened here? Like we even kind of say it looked like a bomb went off in here. You don't go to the park and say, wow, a bomb went off in here. The trees, and then of course, what is always interesting about the creation when you look at it and you study it, not only do you have diversity, right? I mean, you have, you know, different kinds of trees, different kinds of animals, different kinds of plants, all of this stuff, all within one planet. And then you say, this happened. This is what atheists say, right? That this happened by natural processes. Show us how or any example where this would have happened by natural processes. Now, again, I will admit, this is a book of faith. That statement there is a statement of faith, that the heavens declare the glory of God. It is a statement of faith. Granted, statement of faith. I cannot prove that God did this, but to be able to say that nothing created it, be able to say that, that even if you say an explosion, and again, I don't want to get too far off because I'm not qualified to sit down with a astrophysicist and say, you're wrong, astrophysicist. What I'm saying is that I've heard arguments from astrophysics, and none of them, to me, say what you're saying is logical. To say that God didn't do it. That in all the explosion, you have order. So the explosion happened, and then you have the universe, gravitational pull, universes not colliding with one another, and then of course you have our planet itself, the Earth, the life. And as far as their eye can see through telescope, through all of these sophisticated telescopes, they have not found life like they have on this planet. So what does this tell me? God created all of this just for this. The entire Earth, in the entire universe. Now, if you step back and look at it from God's perspective, the universe is just only one thing, right? I mean, again, in this finite comparison, okay, you see a room or a house that I'm in now. Suppose I have 100 houses. If I'm Bill Gates, Elon Musk rich, right? I can have houses of different kinds. My point to that was the universe is just only one aspect of God's creation, one aspect of his focus. Well, how long is that focus? From God's perspective, how long is it? See, from our perspective, even if you want to say 14 billion years, by the way, they kind of changed that, but even if you want to say 14 billion years, how do you come up with that? How do you arrive at that, right? And then if you even say that, okay, you can through a process of elimination, you still would your conclusion should never say, well, God didn't. At the very least, you have to say, well, he hasn't shown himself. But remember, atheists say God did not. There is no existence of God, and that's problem right there. So when you look at then this creation, look at just this human body right here. Well, not don't use me as an example. I'm not the best looking one, but when you look at the human body, and in this sense, the majesty of it right here, 2 eyes, a nose, mouth, taste. You look at everything that goes into that. Everything that kind of goes into that, which is amazing in itself. That everything that goes into that create that this human being here. Then there's a female counterpart, and they want to say God had nothing to do with it. Amazing to me. So when I think about this, yes, it's the message of the Bible. The message of the Bible, okay, the message of the Bible is comprehended by faith, accepted by faith, not scientifically. This is, to me, the mistake that Christians make is to try to say that the Bible is a scientific book. The Bible is not a scientific book. This statement does not prove the existence of God. It declares it, and I believe it by faith. I believe it. So the heavens declare the glory of God. If you wanted to be more of a philosopher, it's because this is what they do. They study life. They look at life and go, wow, look at that butterfly, right? Oh, look at the limbs, 5 limbs, right? And then it seemed like God did things on purpose just to say, well, you have to say, well, why this? Why the sexual pleasure? If you just look at the explosion, why would you have this sexual explosion? Then the vast intelligence of one species, man. Okay, so again, it's to me, it's a wonderful when you think about how God has revealed Himself, through creation. In other words, the creation go, man, look at this. Then here comes God to declare, I created this. I made this. So if you want to say, as a scientist, well, God didn't. You have not proven any kind of way how God didn't prove this. That the claims of the Bible are not true. You may not accept them, and that's understandable. That's you. I think it's unscientific to say that God, based upon what you're saying, that God doesn't exist. You just haven't seen Him. But when you look at everything, and you can't look at everything and say, well, this just happened because of an explosion 14 billion years ago. Basically, to me, that's what you're saying. That doesn't make sense. So I think so verse 1 is very interesting to me, verse 1. All right, guys, look, we'll pick it up in chapter 19 again. Psalm 19 again. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments are welcome. And again, don't forget to like and share this video. All right, see you next time.